Station Cape Cod received a call from Sector Southeast New England, who was actually on the phone with two individuals located on I believe it was about a 20-foot vessel that was taken on water. Sector controller was able to kind of talk a little bit with them until the guys on the boat were saying that the vessel was still taking on more water and more water and more water, and eventually the phone call was dropped. So at that point, we had already received the call from Sector, started to spool up, get a good last known position of where the boat was located. We conducted a search pattern assigned to us from Sector, completed that search and were unable to locate them. They gave us a follow-on search, still unable to locate them. And eventually we decided, well, we were assigned from Sector a shoreline search to follow the shoreline. And in the midst of doing that, I was utilizing the searchlight to provide them some illumination. And just in the corner of my eye, I caught something that appeared to be, out of the ordinary. It's something that I hadn't seen. So I wasn't exactly sure what it was, and by that time it had passed our field of view. So I asked that the pilot at the controls actually come around, make a 360-degree turn. And as he did that, sure enough, we got the searchlight on this vessel with two individuals atop of it waving their arms frantically. And we did one more circle, came around and made an approach to a hover. At that point, we determined the best course of action. We're going to try to bring in a small boat, but where they were located, the small boats were relatively far away, and it would have been hard for them to navigate in the waters where they were located. So we deployed our rescue swimmer. We sent our rescue swimmer down to kind of evaluate the condition of the two guys. He swam over to the vessel where the two guys were sitting on top of, talked with them, gave them a little brief about what we were going to do to give them a hand. You took one of the guys atop the vessel, swam them back to the helicopter. We lowered our rescue basket, and the rescue swimmer put the one patient or survivor into the basket. We hoisted him, and then the rescue swimmer went back to the second guy that was still atop the capsized vessel, gave him a subsequent brief, brought him over to the helicopter, and we hoisted him up. Once both guys were in the back of the helicopter, we sent down the basket and hoisted up our rescue swimmer. They had probably been atop the capsized vessel for probably a little over an hour, and were extremely cold. I think they were on the verge of being hypothermic. So once in the aircraft, we wrapped them with blankets, kept them as warm as we could by cranking up the heat or turning up the heat in the aircraft, and then proceeded in this low visibility route from where we were located back to our air station. It took about 10 to 15 minutes to arrive back to our air station. We landed and had emergency medical service awaiting when we arrived. This time of the year, a lot of people, a lot of mariners are putting their boats in the water. It's getting springtime, the weather's turning nice, fishing season is upon us, and from just talking with them a little bit briefly after the case, it sounded like they were just getting their boat ready for the season. Something went wrong, they started taking on water, and they capsized. Some things that they did really well, they at least had some sort of contact means. They had a cell phone to call, whether it was 911 or the Coast Guard. And they also, after the vessel had turned, they did not make an attempt to, swim to shore or other means. They stayed with their vessel, which from a search aspect of the Coast Guard, you now have made the search object significantly larger. You got this 20-foot vessel versus a single individual. So the fact that they stayed with the boat definitely assisted in us, helping us find them, and the means of having the way of having a means of contacting for help. It served them well as well.